Fandango, Tyler Breeze, welcome to Gorilla Position.
Thank you very much.
Are we live right now?
We are live. Yeah. We're live across the world on every digital platform you can imagine.
Don't worry, we're good.
I mean, I'm not going to freak out or anything.
Just
I
focus.
just didn't know we were live here. I thought we were just doing an interview and everything was cool. I didn't know there'd be cameras.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you're better off telling them it's taped. It's taped. We can edit everything.
Yeah.
I get really nervous
when
when the camera.
We can edit everything.
Pre-recorded.
Edit everything. It's good, man.
You've broken the mic already. I even warned you about this before.
This interview's going to hell, man.
See? It's okay, man.
This is not a good start.
All right,
This is not a good start.
we're good. We're good.
So here we are. We're in London this morning. You've been to various places on the European tour. How is it going for you guys so far?
It's been good, nice and busy. Crowds are always good, man. Everybody's so excited for us to be over here. We just finished up in Malaga, Spain.
My favorite city in the world, Malaga.
It was great city. We were kind of in and out of there, chartered in, chartered out.
Yeah.
But fun, real lively crowds.
Talk to me about the crowds. Like over here in the UK, especially, they're known as a pretty raucous bunch. What's like the strangest crowd chant you've had performing here in the UK?
You probably had some weird ones.
Spain was actually really into Breezango. I noticed.
Yeah.
That when we came out, they had the signs, and there was actually a few people dressed up as the sexy cops, which was kind of cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they get into sexy cops more in Spain.
Maybe we're just big in Spain. I don't know.
I don't know, but I noticed last night in Malaga.
Malaga.
Malaga. I like that.
See?
Tomato.
Wait, that's Malaga.
Yeah. Either way, it sounds great.
Is that
Yeah.
camera on?
Hey, relax.
Don't stare right in the camera.
They can edit everything.
No, we're live. I mean, no, sorry, we're pre-recorded.
That's on you, man.
Spain. I think the reaction was probably the best. I think the whole loop we did last night.
Both Spains were good.
Last night was really fun.
Yeah.
And what do a couple of lads like you, absolute boys, what do a couple of boys like you get up to on the UK tour? Like, what's your favourite thing to do here in London, for example? Because I imagine you've been here many, many times.
Yeah, I mean, what have I done in London? Well, usually we get in so late the night before, before TV that we don't have a lot of time like today to get up and really go sightsee. But I've done media before for Sky Sports, and like we were kind of talking about before we went live, going to Liverpool and Everton and the soccer clubs, which I don't really know a lot about, but when you get over here, you kind of see how it's like religion over here, football.
Kind of forced
yeah, so it's kind of cool to see how much people love football over here. But I mean, with our schedule, it's really hard unless you want to get up and really cut into your sleep. It's hard to really get up early and kind of sightsee. Yeah. But Breeze always gets up really early, right, Breeze?
No, not at all.
What do you like to do? Cap on backwards.
No, so this is
boy.
Yeah, this is what I normally do. For the amount of time that I've been here, I've accomplished nothing. I've accomplished not one thing. Almost every day is the exact same. Catering is like from 7 to 11. Okay. So I normally get up at like 10:45 and hit the last 15 minutes of catering.
You've got it all mapped out.
And then I go right to the gym and then hang out at the gym, come back, shower, and most of the time you got like an hour or something until you got to catch the bus.
And then I Google pictures of London or Malaga or Dublin.
Yep.
And just Google pictures of the city, kind of look at the city via iPhone, post them on my Instagram story. So it looks like I'm really proactive and very cultured.
That's good.
And then I just go, I love exploring the city.
Yep.
But meanwhile, I'm in my bed on my phone.
That is how people explore cities nowadays, through their phones.
Yeah.
What a desperately sad time we live in. You mentioned food. Talk to me. What's your favourite? What's your favourite dish of all time? And then what's your favourite dish over here?
What is my favourite dish? I'm a big pizza guy.
Good boy.
But I've noticed the pizza in Italy is not like the pizza in the States. It's like
very
different.
It's
not good.
Very different.
No,
it's the best pizza in the world.
No,
surely,
it's good.
Obviously.
It's different. It's more it's more marinara sauce and less cheese, right? Have you noticed?
Yeah, less toppings.
Less toppings.
Less toppings. It's more
Thinner as
straightforward.
well.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they're like pies in America.
Yeah, they kind of
you
just
get
keep
deep
stacking
based.
stuff on.
Yeah.
Here it's kind of like, hey, make your pick and that's it.
That's the American way, though. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Just keep piling stuff on.
Well, we could have this or this or both.
saturated fat
Yeah.
can we get on one slice?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just keep stacking it on.
Yeah, the pizza. What else is good over here? The Diet 7-Ups on the bus are really good.
What did we just had?
Busy, man.
Everyone loves. Well, I'm trying to think. Everyone
That gag went straight over his head.
Everyone loves those.
Candies and stuff, right?
Yeah, the prawn cocktail chips.
Oh, the chips.
Prawn
The chips
cocktail
on the
chips
bus.
win every time.
Exotic
Oh, yeah.
flavors, crisp. The exotic flavors of the crisp.
Prawn
smoked
cocktail,
bacon,
roast chicken.
roasted chicken.
Yeah.
Love 'em.
Ham and mustard. Have you had any of those?
I have not.
They're a lot of fun. You need to get involved.
So you know what I actually found? Like everything over here is kind of more similar to Canada than it is the U.S. Like we
Yeah.
kind of have like the roast chicken chips and like all dressed and ketchup and all that stuff. Yeah.
See, I'm from Maine. We have the ketchup chips up in Maine,
Yeah.
which they don't really have a lot.
No,
in the
like,
rest of the
not at all.
states.
Not at all.
Yeah, the crisp flavors over here are just unbelievable. Dude.
Yeah, and those are like my weakness. I could eat those nonstop all day, every day.
I really want to go to Maine, by the way. I've never been. Is it a nice place?
Yeah, it's very similar to England. It reminds me a lot of. It's very
Oh,
old
yeah,
cobblestone. A lot
Yeah.
of pubs.
Yeah.
Very small town feel.
The architect's very similar to. It reminds me of over here. And like when I went to Liverpool, it reminded me of the cobblestone near the water
Yeah, yeah.
and the old brick buildings because it's such an old city.
It's a big fishing place, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's New England, so
Yeah, it's all fishing.
I assume it's connected to England in some way,
It's the new version.
It's the new version.
like
version.
New Mexico somehow connected
yeah.
to Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, I've always wanted to go to Maine, and I've always wanted to go to Canada. I've never been to Canada. You're obviously a
Yep.
Canadian
Yep.
boy. Do you miss home? How often do you get to go back?
Not a lot at all.
Not a lot.
Penticton,
Yeah. I mean,
city. I'm gonna cut Breeze off.
yeah.
Every time
How do you feel about my hometown?
I love it.
if you're going to cut him off, maybe talking to the mic.
You need
That'd be,
that.
What's that?
that'd be tremendously helpful, considering we are live and everything.
We are live.
Yeah.
Sorry, Breeze. Keep
You're
going.
good under pressure, man. You're good under pressure.
He cut you off for that.
And he's just randomly talking to himself, not even into the
Not
mic.
even into the mic, so it's all good work.
Terrible.
It's all strong work.
Luckily, we do some shows back in Canada where I can kind of go back. But so, I mean, really, that's kind of the only time I see all my family and stuff is maybe once or twice a year.
Right.
But I mean, like working here, our travel schedule, if I had to cross customs all the time and, being on the West Coast and the East Coast, it would eat up all my off days and, taxes would kill me and everything else. So I like where I'm at. I do miss, I'd like to go back there more and see everybody, but our schedule's, crazy, as you know, so.
What's the coffee place? Not Starbucks.
Ooh,
It's
no,
like the
yeah,
famous
I'm
one
not,
in-
not a Starbucks.
Tim
Not a
Hortons.
Starbucks,
That's the one.
Timmy Hortons.
I always see Renee Young with it.
Right?
Love Tim Hortons.
He was a hockey player, right?
Tim Horton, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good coffee?
Great.
Okay.
Delicious.
I don't think it's that good.
I liked it.
Dunkin' Donuts.
No, Dunkin's horrible.
What are you talking about, man? You cut him off for that.
Dunkin's horrible.
Best you.
Hey,
Dave.
it's okay, man. It's okay. It's
We
just an
didn't mean
opinion.
it. We
It's
didn't
just an
mean it.
opinion,
Come
man.
back.
He gets real touchy on these subjects,
I can see.
or
I can
every
tell.
I
subject.
took way too much pre-workout. I'm tingly.
Yeah.
Really awkward.
So you were talking about your travel schedule there, and obviously you guys have done, like with TV, live events, pay-per-views, you've done hundreds and hundreds of WWE shows. Do you still get a buzz from the live crowd? You still get excited to go out there and perform?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Whether performing in front of 15 people on an indie show back in the day or 10,000 and
How long have you been working? 15 years?
18.
18. Oh my.
I always get nervous, performing in front of a crowd, and it's cool. Like you can get a different reaction from different crowds. Like we kind of get a feel for the crowd before you go out there. What are they kind of into tonight? And you can kind of structure your match around what they're really getting behind. But even the other night in Spain, they were really behind us, like we were saying earlier, and it's like. You get that reaction, and you don't really want to go home in the match, and you almost want to stay out there as long as you can to kind of keep feeling that. But you got to wrap it up, and then move on to the next one. So
Yeah.
it's something that you get addicted to is the reaction from the crowd, and then you want more of it, right?
So you know what I actually found different was everyone, I've heard along the way anyway, people are like, oh man, you always got to feel nervous before you go out there and everything else. This is now I think my 11th year, 12th year, and I don't get nervous anymore. Now it's to the point where we're so comfortable in what we do, and we kind of know, hey, if we do this, the crowd's probably going to do this, or if we do this, then the crowd has like this little leeway to either take it or throw it back at us or whatever. And then it's just kind of like this like comfortable, fun area where you're not nervous at all. I'm just kind of like watching all the people there going like, what are you going to give us? And then they do something, and then it's fun, and then you play off of it, and I play off it, and all of a sudden we're just out there having a blast, and there's nothing nervous about it. It's just like, man, that was a fun one tonight, or well, they weren't really feeling that tonight, or whatever. It's kind of cool. You're like the puppet master out there, and it's kind of cool watching like. If you can elicit a response from people like that by just doing, a certain thing or whatever, that's the cool part of it.
I think when you're trying to get a reaction out of the crowd, you need to stay loose. So, like, if you're structuring your match or your personality in one straight direction, and if they're not buying that and you're sticking to that, then that's the reaction you're going to get no matter what. So, like. If with us, I think the looser we stay, and if we, I go to throw my T-shirt in the crowd and it falls down like the other night, and everyone goes boo, but then you go out and pick it up and give it to a little kid. So be able to play off the crowd and just stand.
You gotta have the ear for it.
But if you're just kind of like in tunnel vision and you're gonna do what you called in the back and you're just like this, and then you don't really loosen up and flex with the crowd, then sometimes you can lose them.
You could be doing something that like you don't even expect to work, and then all of a sudden it's working like crazy. And then if you don't hear it, then you could like just blow past it to what you think is going to get a reaction. But you're like, no, they're already loving what you're doing. Just play with them, and then you start playing with them, and it gets even better. It's great.
It's just slowing down. I think over time,
it's just being comfortable, man.
Yeah, when you first start wrestling, you're just so nervous, and you just want to. Make sure
you don't want to mess.
You don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess up, and then the longer you wrestle, the more you realize it's not just about getting through the match without messing up. It's about manipulating the crowd and getting them to feel. And it's like you said, being a puppet master.
You know what I notice a lot of the time, and I've seen it. Like when you first start out, most of the people that get into this are wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So like. You get stuck in this thinking of like, oh man, I'm a wrestler now, so I got to act like a wrestler. But there's no real like way to act like a wrestler. So like we have this weird vision in our head of like
play wrestling.
We're like these tough guys or something, and we go out there and it just comes off as boring, and like nobody's really enjoying themselves. And
come on, baby.
Yeah, and all of a sudden
you're playing this role that you think you need to be playing.
Or if someone puts a microphone in front of your face and you're going, I'm going to give it 110% and this and that, and nobody cares. Nobody wants that.
Also, that's impossible.
Exactly. And they just want you to, they just want you to loosen up and have fun.
Yeah, it's like if we're doing this interview right now, we're trying to say all the right things. Like I'm trying to play the character that I think you want to interview. So I'm like, like it's like a promo. Where it's almost regurgitated and rehearsed, and you can almost feel that as a fan that this guy's not really he's not feeling what he's saying right now. It's just he's saying something that he thinks you want to hear, and that goes for not only like promos and interviews, but in ring, like Breeze is saying. If you're just kind of going through the motions, people are really observant and they feel it, Yeah,
I used to get that all the time of them telling you like you're trying too hard, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, how can you not? All I've wanted to do is be a wrestler. Like, how am I trying too hard? If anything, I should try harder. And it's like, no, you just got to relax, man.
Yeah, I think it's the best advice I was ever given was like, care, but don't care.
Yeah.
So like, don't completely give up your passion for the business, but stop.
Still show up.
Just sit in the corner, man.
Yeah, but like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going through that curtain every night and you're just in the back of your mind, you're gonna you're just gonna kill yourself if you mess up that drop kick or fumble on a promo, and then you're just talking, like,
especially on live TV.
Yeah, on live TV. God, so like, if you kind of just stop trying so hard in terms of if I mess up or if something goes wrong, then it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I think that just comes over the years, reps. Like it's like a young kid coming up to play baseball. He's so nervous and he just wants to hit a home run every time he goes at bat. But 10 years into his career, he's loosened up and he's probably struck out 2,000 times, and it doesn't hurt him as much. So you almost got to go out there and you got to make mistakes in the ring. You got to blow spots. You got to mess up promos. And then once you've failed and you realize it's not the end of the world, then you're more comfortable talking to a camera. Yeah. If we were doing this when we first started wrestling,
never
18 years ago,
never.
I would have been I would have been up at like 7 a.m, nervous as hell, thinking of things I could say to you in this room, like Breeze and I, we're hoping we can.
We just want to win the tag titles. We want the tag team championships
because you're trying so hard, and you want to end like. And people feel that when you're trying so hard, and it just it takes a long time, man, to get good at this, and it takes years and years and years of messing up and making mistakes, and then hopefully you finally get it and everything clicks.
And also, I guess it goes back to that age-old thing of be yourself, because the best wrestlers in the history of WWE and the industry, they've all the most successful ones have always been an extension of their own personality.
Yeah, I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's Stunning Steve in WCW. He's doing the character. Maybe it's not quite him. He doesn't quite get it. I mean, he's playing it with Pillman, but it's not him. You know what I'm saying? But then he sticks around long enough, like I just said, over the years, the reps, and then he kind of falls into that character. So it's about sticking around long enough and hopefully having that opportunity to build that body of work over the years to kind of Edge as a vampire, Edge at the end of his career. Two different guys.
So
but he stuck
true.
around long enough. Christian too.
Yep.
Perfect examples of just two good wrestlers that came in. Obviously, they're not vampires, and they probably just that's that. I mean, not in real life, but
Gangrel still is.
Yeah,
Still
but that wasn't them. They they played the character good, but over the years of just being good wrestlers and being reliable, stuck around and then evolved into those characters that we saw towards the latter part of their career that they were comfortable in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Fandango evolved, Breezango, it's Tyler Breeze, it's you're an actor. You're playing a character, and people don't want to see that same role forever, and it's evolving over the years, So
And so with
what was the question? Because I have no idea.
I
just blanked out.
Absolutely no idea.
I have no idea.
I was seeing where you were going with that.
That was just like a 20-minute
He's
rant.
got this whole he's got this whole motion going on.
But you get what I'm saying, though,
Talking
right?
about breakfast or something.
Yeah.
No, I do completely understand that. And you mentioned Edge and Christian, good example. Them as a great tag team, they really kind of formed a bond with the audience during that time. For you guys, creatively, are you happy with where you're at? Because obviously WWE is unlike an entertainment format. It's unlike any other entertainment format. They have to appeal to such a wide demographic of people. You're obviously the sort of light relief, the comedy side, which is great. Are you happy in that position, or do you want to sort of transition and evolve your characters even further?
I think we kind of have a different opinion, of that. It's almost like I guess being, comedic or being funny kind of gets put in this category of that's just kind of like the funny guys or whatever. But if you look at everyone that we grew up liking, every part of them, it's kind of a universal thing of people like to laugh. And it makes people like people. So, The Rock, how many times did he say something that everybody laughed their heads off at? Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle. Almost every single person had a little bit of comedy or a ton of comedy in their act. But they had the perfect balance of, when they were in the ring, then they kind of backed it up and you completely forgot that, Kurt Angle was wearing a little tiny cowboy hat and, singing along and whatever. You have to have the perfect mix. So with us, we've been doing it long enough that we've kind of proved that we can build our fan base by making them laugh and everything like that. When given the opportunity, in that match with the Usos, where we were dressing up and doing all that other stuff, it was the perfect balance where at the end people were standing on their feet thinking we're about to win the tag team titles. So I think we've kind of proven that we have the balance. We just kind of need more opportunity, which hopefully now that we got drafted to Raw, there's more time to kind of showcase what we can do. And I think that's, we're definitely not content kind of just being the comedy guys. Like I said, do we want to keep that? Of course, because that's why people, start liking us in the first place. But I really don't think you've seen kind of all that we can do. And I mean, you've seen, him for years, me for years, and even us in a couple little opportunities. But I think there's a lot more that we can do.
Because I mean, you are great comedy performers. Like there is no denying you are
Fantastic.
very, very good at it. Like,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
some of the best.
So absolutely. So are we going to see more Fashion Files, for example? Because that truly was hilarious.
I don't know. I don't know if we want to say too much on that because there's a couple things in the works.
There's some things in the works, yeah. But
Okay.
in terms of Raw, I think last year, 2017, it was a very heavy. We did Fashion Files every week for about 6 months, which was pretty cool because we didn't anticipate that. But for me, I'd be happy with a little bit of both. If we could have a little bit more in-ring time on Raw, and then maybe sprinkle some Fashion Files in there. So like it's kind of like what you just said. So we're not completely comedy backstage characters, but a little bit of the files, and then maybe a little bit more time in the ring.
Yeah,
I think last year,
last year was all files, man.
just
Like
all
we
files,
really had
yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 times that we were in the ring.
I don't think we wrestled 4 or 5 times maybe on TV.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah, if that.
So a little bit more in ring time, which I think would be great.
I think it was great. We had that match with the Revival a couple weeks ago, and it was a blast.
What?
The match with the Revival.
Oh yeah, that was good.
He was there. He was in it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I was there.
Now this is a weird one. We were discussing you, Fandango, on the show recently, and I saw a picture of you online. You were looking really cool. You had a beanie on. You had your tats out.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe a publicity still for Superstar Inc. or something like that on the network.
With Corey.
And we said on the show I said on the show specifically that Fandango is the next CM Punk. How do you feel about that? Is that a weird comparison to make? Do you think you could reach those heady heights?
Did you make that comparison just because I have tattoos and Punk has tattoos?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is quite strange. But I thought about it, and I thought,
Then, I mean, then you could
superb
be-
in the ring, brilliant promo,
Yeah.
got everything you need. Like, I just was wondering how you felt about that
You
comparison.
just made his
Cameraman
whole week,
just
man.
laughed.
You just made his whole week.
The cameraman just.
So is that a good comparison to make or a bad one? Are you a fan of his?
Yeah, I am a fan of Punk's. I don't know if I would consider myself being the next CM Punk, but our paths have kind of gone different ways. But I mean, if I could get the run that he had, I would be absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah.
To do the things that he's done in this company. But to say I'm the next CM Punk, I don't know. I don't know
if they'll ever be like. I always.
Yeah, Punk had a chip on it. Punk had a chip on his shoulder, and he had something to prove to everyone.
Yeah,
and he did, and it's something to be proud of. But to say I'm the next CM Punk, I don't know. Just because he's got a little bit more tattoos than me.
And do you think we'll ever see him back in WWE? Is that something you guys would like to see?
This one thing I've learned over the years, being with the WWE for 10 years and being in the business for 18, that you never can count anybody out.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Eric Bischoff would have came back to WWE?
Right opportunity. There's always something that's
it's a
possible.
business, and there's money to be made. They'll make it.
If there's a WrestleMania main event to happen,
Yeah.
on
Anything's
the side,
possible,
then-
man.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what we
Anything
do.
is possible. Nothing is off limits. So.
And you mentioned your 18 years in the business. Obviously, you had a great run on the Indies, and you did a few years on the Indie circuit as
That
well.
was like 4 years.
I wouldn't say great.
Well,
You're a well-known name back then.
The Portuguese Sun
Sun
Dragon.
Dragon, man.
That's a whole nother. We need 2 hours for a podcast for the
Okay.
Portuguese Sun
Yeah.
Dragon.
okay.
So.
And Tyler, you had how many years were you on?
I was
the
at 4
Indies?
years.
Okay. And what was the first promotion you worked for?
It was a little promotion called Power Zone Wrestling
Power Zone Wrestling.
in
That's it.
Lethbridge, Alberta.
And
Really?
Yeah.
what do you guys think of the current landscape of the indie world? Because certainly here in the UK, I feel like it's gone through a real boom period at the moment.
Ours would have been completely different, like journeys, I guess you want to say, where you were in the
Yeah.
States. I was kind of hidden in Canada,
Yeah.
and like I had no clue how to work for these promotions. So I was kind of working like once a month in these random ones that were close to me in like Calgary or Lethbridge or Edmonton or whatever. But I had no idea. Like I knew of other promotions that existed or how to become like an independent star kind of thing. But I had no idea how to even start, not being so hidden and, even even really do anything. Like there was no way of getting to like a Ring of Honor, or, some other bigger promotion that either had TV or that that I knew these guys from. So after 4 years, it was kind of like the same stuff, and I was like, all right, I just got to go to WWE to tell me what they say. Like if they're like, hey man, you need to work on this, at least then I got a direction, because at the moment in those 4 years, I was like, it's all kind of the same. Like I'm like hidden doing these. I was doing like these little tiny shows, and it was just I don't know. I didn't feel like I was getting better at all. Whereas you were kind of you worked for a lot more promotions. There's a lot more opportunity kind of where you were.
I started wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s, so it was the Attitude Era. So, it was the boom of wrestling. Yeah. So kind of like now where MMA is so popular, everybody wanted to be a wrestler. Indie shows are really popular. So I was like this 150, 160-pound kid, and there was like just a bunch of huge like biker dudes on the indies. It was a different landscape than it is now. Now it's a lot about like athletic, smaller guys doing these really cool moves. Back then, it was just a bunch of big, grown men.
You're big. You should be a wrestler, man.
It was different back then. It was just big dudes shoulder tackling each other and saying, "Come on, you want some more? Hit the ropes. Give me another shoulder tackle." And it's like I was a 155-pound kid that just loved the cruiserweights and WCW Saturday Night and Juventud Guerrero and Dean Malenko. I was a big fan of like the high flying. Yeah. So it was a little bit different for me breaking in because I had these grown men ribbing me as a little kid, and it was a little bit. The hazing was still around back then. It was kind of more protected in terms of who the hell is this little kid, like trying to get in the business, and it was a little bit different than it is now. Totally different. A lot of those guys probably wouldn't really fit into the indie style now. These big jacked up guys. I like the indie style now. It's fun to watch. It's different, and it's
a lot more prominent. Like you said, like in the UK, like you guys have a ton of promotions. Yeah. A ton of places actually have they draw good crowds, man.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling's hot right now. It really is. You watch a lot of promotions outside of WWE, and people are drawing some serious crowds, which is good. It's good for the business, and it's cool to see even in the UK people drawing really well. Even in Scotland, I'm not sure if we can talk about like the promotions, but like they're drawing 4,000 or 5,000 people in Scotland and Europe, and I mean that's good for the wrestling business, which I like to see.
I think it's really good, and also WWE are now collaborating with a lot of these smaller. It's kind of unthinkable in the past.
Yeah, because when we just did WrestleMania, they did Axxess. And they had people who are outside the company coming in to do these matches for Axxess crowds and stuff like that. Which if you don't work here and you're trying to get here, or you're trying to at least make connections or open the door or whatever, that's gigantic opportunity. So coming in to do stuff like that and getting to kind of showcase what you can do can turn you from a hidden gem into like somebody to keep your eye on, which is huge. And that's, like I said, I could never figure it out when I was on the independents, how to kind of make that transition, which at the time was different. Now is kind of WWE's kind of opening their arms to that stuff, which is great because anything that helps everybody become a star, everybody just gets more opportunity, and it's kind of good for everybody.
I kind of feel like that's what Axxess should become, like a kind of showcase for lots of either local promotions in that city, because so many promotions run shows around Mania weekend. Yeah. So kind of just get them all under one roof and put on different kind of marquee showcase matches throughout the days. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, what better way if you got Woodstock playing over here, right? But we're going to open our stage up a couple days early. Yeah. And we're going to let some local bands, we're going to let some lower card bands get up there, and we're going to, this isn't quite, we're not doing the day of the show. We're not doing Woodstock today, but we're going to open the gates up 2 to 3 days earlier. And we got all the biggest music fans in the world in this one area. And we're going to let these young kids and these new bands that have been playing in front of 15 people in bars get up on this stage and see how these people react to them. That's my analogy in terms of you get some kids from the indies, and we're going to let you get in front of this crowd, this international crowd here for, the Super Bowl, the biggest show of the year, and get a taste and, feel it. Which is pretty cool. I thought it was really cool when we were doing Axxess, and you get these kids from the indies getting a shot and getting a look and getting an opportunity to get a feel that, which is it's really cool.
It's great. I know if it was me, kind of getting the opportunity, it would be mind blowing. Like you walk in and you go, man, I'm actually like I'm a part of this.
Yeah.
I'm a part of this thing.
Yeah,
And
cool.
that's, I mean, even just the learning, even just getting.
You know,
in there
my
and
thing
learning all that stuff.
is let's help the business. Get these kids in front of the Robbie Brooksides, the Regals. Get up here. Get a little bit of education, bring that back to the promotion that you work for, and educate the other guys you're working with, and that only helps the wrestling business, to spread that knowledge. If these guys are around the machine and are getting educated, and if they're learning, they can take that back to their local promotion, whether it's in New Jersey, London, or Penticton, Canada. And that's only helping the wrestling business, because what, like Breeze was saying, these indie promotions he's wrestling for in Lethbridge, Alberta, they're so disconnected to the wrestling business. And you get some guy that's been wrestling 30 years there. It says he's a veteran, but he doesn't really know anything because he's a big fish in a small pond, so disconnected from the wrestling world. So like, if I could start my wrestling career all over, the 10 years I spent on the indies wrestling guys on my level that had they didn't have any experience past mine, and we weren't really learning. I could have learned more in 1 year training in the PC or wrestling guys.
Easily, yeah.
That's how you get better. So like, if these guys, going back to kind of full circle, if these guys could come to NXT or do the WrestleMania Axxess and get more knowledge, and then go back to their local promotion and help the other guys get better, that's a good thing for the whole wrestling business as a whole.
Yeah, totally agree. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you guys during a live event or a match? Like, has something gone horrendously wrong?
Yo, yeah. So
I love these stories.
You remember the wrench?
Yeah.
That's got to be it, right?
You mind if I use your bathroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to tell the wrench
Yeah, I'll
story as
tell
I
the
go
wrench
pee?
story,
I
man.
really got to go to the bathroom.
You're actually leaving the interview midway.
No, tell the
No, you
wrench
can't.
story.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Go.
So
He's actually gone. Number one or two?
That's it.
Okay, one.
All right, man. All right. So we're working.
I did not see this.
We're
coming,
working.
by
This is what he does, man. This interview is going fairly well. Normally, we almost break up as a team.
Okay.
And he gets mad at something, and then
Yeah.
I get mad at something, and then that's just how it goes. So this one's going very
I'm
smoothly.
glad. I'm pleased. Tell the wrench story.
But so anyway, so we're at some live event. I can't remember where it was, but it was. I think I just had a match with Goldust, and Fandango's out there with me, and he's the worst.
Shouting from the toilet.
And R-Truth is in the back, and at some point during the match, Dango's going to get involved, and R-Truth's going to come out and make the save, and he's going to start beating us up.
Yeah.
So Goldust, he was kind of, I think he was beating me up for a little bit, and the ref turned his back, and Fandango got involved and hit him with something, and he's down. So I go up to the top rope, and I'm staring down at Goldust, and I'm waiting for R-Truth's music to hit. And I'm standing on the top staring at Goldie, and he's looking at me, and I'm standing there, and I go, I'm not going to do anything off of here. So I'm staring at him. Hey, welcome back, man.
There he is. He's back.
Welcome back.
We're midway through the story. I've missed
Keep
anything.
going.
So
Do you even need me here for
I didn't hear the
story?
toilet flush, by the way.
No, I flushed.
Unbelievable.
So I'm staring down at Goldie from the top rope.
Yep.
There's an integral part for you coming up. I'm staring down at Goldie, and I look back at like the music guys, and there's no music. and I go, what are they doing? They know? Like, what's going on? So Goldie's staring up at me, and he goes, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. And I look back at the music guys again, still nothing. So this time, all of a sudden, Dango finds a wrench underneath the ring.
I always keep a wrench under the ring.
And he
You never know when you're
he
gonna
hops up on the apron, and he goes to like step in, like he's going to hit Goldust with the wrench.
Yeah.
But then he looks back at the music guys like, hey,
I gave him
this
the old.
is
I gave
it.
him the old.
This is when you hit the music. Dude, it was the best. And still,
Just looking at me.
still no music. So then he steps out of the ring and then steps into the ring again and holds the wrench up at the music people. Still nothing. So I'm standing on the top rope still going, what is happening? And I'm just laughing. I'm just going, well, this is going horrible.
And what are the crowd thinking at this point?
I think they're very confused.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think they were. They were. They were very confused.
They were wondering why you kept getting in and out of the ring with a wrench. Goldust is laying there forever. I'm standing on the top rope, and finally, I just jump off the top rope and land on my feet. And I go, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything off of there. So I walk over and grab Goldust. He starts getting mad, so he starts firing up on me, and he's beating me up. And all of a sudden, Truth runs out there with no music, and he comes out, and he's so mad, and he just starts beating us up, whatever, and he runs us off. And we all come to the back, and me and him look at each other, and we immediately burst out laughing. Yeah. And Goldie and Truth come through the curtain, and they're steaming. They are so mad. Yeah. And they go, where was the music? And we're laughing, and they're so mad. And it was great. I was I just remember standing on the top rope, looking at you with a gigantic wrench in your hand, literally like Bugs Bunny style, stepping through the ring, looking back and going, "Nope, nothing." Steps out and steps back in. Oh,
classic.
And did you ever find out what happened to the music? Where was R-Truth's cue?
I think nobody even knew.
I think Truth talked to the sound people.
Yeah, it was something weird where like they didn't even know they were supposed to hit it, so they were literally just watching the match, going like, "Wow, what's going to happen here?" And we're going, "No, we need you. We need you guys."
They were just enjoying the match.
Yep. Oh, they loved it. They were curious what was going to happen.
That is an excellent story. And just to finish off quickly, I need to ask: where were you guys? What were you doing? Where were you when Titus O'Neil fell out of the ring?
I like you got really serious and deep there.
That's a big
it's like,
question.
where were you during 9/11?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask something
You'll
like that.
always remember it.
But then this is, I think I just got eliminated from the Rumble. Yeah, I was already in the back. I'm asking
you. Lasted longer than me.
I'm asking you like but...
No, wait. I got eliminated. You were already eliminated. So we were both already in the back.
I was already in the back because I remember looking up. There was a TV screen in the back in the locker room.
Yeah.
And then I looked up. And then Titus ran down the ramp. And I remember, listen to this. Someone goes, "Hey, be careful. There's a little hump at the end. The ramp comes down."
So there was a warning.
Nice.
Tony Nese.
Tony Nese
goes,
says, "Hey, watch
guys,
out for this little thing at the bottom."
Tony Nese
Absolute
in the
boy.
back. He got eliminated, I think, came back and goes,
Yeah,
"Hey,
he
be
was
careful."
early on.
I ran down. There's a little bit of hump. So there was two people probably that were going to fall over that, Titus or me.
Yeah.
So it was either... I think if Tony told Titus, Titus probably would have still fallen. But
well, it was like it was like the perfect storm of like I was so worried because the ramp was really long and it's that LED screen or whatever, so it gets real slippery when you got 50 guys running down all oiled up or whatever. It's gonna get slippery. So then they're saying like, "Hey, we got 50 people, man. Like you got to kind of hustle to the ring because it's like this huge entranceway." Yeah. So as the entire time before I went out, I think I was like number 30, and I'm sitting there going, "All right, I'm not gonna run. I don't want to slip. I don't want to fall. I don't want to do whatever." And so then I remember 30 goes, and I come out, and I'm literally like gingerly running down, and I'm like, okay, it's okay, it's all right. And I didn't even think like, okay, like after me, someone's gonna come and take this gigantic tumble. So we're sitting in the locker room, and there was like, I think the locker room was like split into like 3 or 4 halves, and like some people here, some people there, some people here. And when it happened, dude, it literally shows it, and everybody just kind of goes, hold on. And you hear in the other room like, no, did it happen? Did that happen? And we all just kept replaying it. Oh, man.
Oh, that's so good.
The best is they replayed it like 4 or 5 times on the thing, too.
You know what? He got really lucky because...
he stole the show. Stole the entire show with that.
He went all the way to Saudi Arabia. And stole the show.
But like the ring post, so like there's, you got the...
Could have been a dangerous fall.
Well, there's metal posts supporting the ring, so he came probably 6 inches from smashing into that. So
if you tried to plan that out, you couldn't have planned it out better. He literally missed the post here and the post up top. Somehow he's a gigantic man, and he perfectly slid under everything, missed everything, and completely disappeared under the ring.
Basically, it's like if I was to run as fast as I can and try to slide into this area here. He did that.
Yeah.
So like
how he didn't hit his head, I don't know, man.
Hitting his head on a metal. He got lucky, man, and then got a T-shirt out of it. So
extremely lucky.
Lucky. I mean, the production in Saudi Arabia was incredible, but thank God the LED aprons didn't make their way over there.
Oh, imagine that,
dude!
Do you know what I mean,
dude? Actually, the funny thing about Titus is he's invincible.
Yeah.
You can't
I've
hurt
seen him
the
fall
guy.
down a few times.
But the thing is he's never hurt. You cannot hurt him. He's the strongest man.
He's never been injured, has he?
Gigantically strong, can take anything. He's crazy.
Yeah, he's never been injured, has he?
No. Damn. He's very, very durable.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
And what a gimmick he's got now.
I think if he hit the
Superb.
LED screen, he'd break the LED screen and he'd be perfectly
exactly.
fine.
He probably would go right through it.
Guaranteed.
He's a big boy.
Boys, absolute boys. Thanks
Yeah.
so much. I've had a lot of fun talking to you.
Have you been? Did you videotape this whole thing on the camera?
Even when you were peeing.
Well, it's just live stream.
I never
so
peed.
You
We're gonna
did.
edit
We heard
that
it
out.
on here.
Are you gonna edit out the pee?
Nope.
Can't edit live.
Can't edit, pal.
You even went to the toilet
And
halfway
you were
through.
yelling. He was yelling at us.
Very curious.
Trying to continue the interview while
really
he's
had
in
to
there.
go.
I know.
You didn't need me here for the.
I needed you.
For what the wrench?
You
story?
get into the
He
rent.
struggled on his own.
I would have just sat here while you told the wrench story.
No, you get the smile on your face when
You
you
said
get the
you
wrench.
got to tell the wrench story, and I got to pee, and then everything worked out fine.
It all worked out well.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.